When people talk about stories of financial success, we often hear things like how to save, how to spend, how to budget, blah blah blah. Essentially, these things are what we call personal finance or financial management practices. And these practices form the backbone of every success story. While millionaires put a greater emphasis on these practices, schools seem to think otherwise. What did you learn about personal finance in college? Credit? Investing? Money management? Unless you choose business or finance-related courses, usually these things are not taught. It's kind of frustrating knowing how much information was not included throughout our studies. The world tells us to get educated, get a job, and all will be well. But unfortunately, it's not that simple. For you to succeed in the world, you need to know a lot more about money than what school will ever give you. In today's video, the compilation of the top 10 personal finance rules that you should abide by to be ahead of the game with your finances. Welcome to Thrivetastic. If you're new here, why not hit that subscribe button and join our community? And as always guys, give this video a thumbs up for that YouTube algorithm. Number 10. Buying your first home. You've definitely heard the famous saying, if you want to buy a home, you need to save up to 20% of the purchase price for a down payment. If you don't, you'll be required to pay private mortgage insurance, which may seriously eat into your savings. What you won't be taught in school is that while bigger mortgage payments are unpleasant, the financial trade-off between paying more money now and waiting to save up the 20% deposit may be more advantageous. When we look at the macroeconomic indicators in the United States during the last decade, we see that the appreciation rate of real estate has increased significantly while wage levels have remained flat. As a result, saving 20% of the home's worth is impossible because it will only rise dramatically over time. The idea is that if you can comfortably save money in at least 5 years, you should go for it. If it would take you longer, you'll be chasing an ever-changing target as prices rise. Number 9. Save, save, save. They will teach you in school to save at least 10% of your income. But let's face it, this isn't enough to retire on. Unless of course you're a millionaire. A good savings rate for most of us with regular paychecks will be between 25 and 40%. We're not arguing that 10% is completely useless. In fact, it could be a wonderful starting point for building your savings muscle. Also, reduce your spending and unneeded fees to save more. Instead of buying that cup of coffee every morning, how about putting the money in a high-interest savings account? Number 8. Emergency fund. You might not have heard of an emergency fund in school, but you're fortunate to have us teach you about it. According to recent figures, up to 40% of Americans do not have enough money to cover a $400 emergency. This is a concerning figure that demonstrates how many people disregard the need for having an emergency fund. What if you got fired today? Would you be able to cover your expenses? The golden rule is to have 6 months of expenses saved up somewhere, but we believe that the more that you can save, the better. Number 7. Budgeting. Budgeting is really important in life, but you won't learn about it in school. Unfortunately, failing to master the fundamentals of budgeting while in school can put you at a disadvantage immediately after graduation, especially if you move out. Not knowing how to manage bills and distinguish between wants and needs might lead to one experiencing one hardship after another. Everyone should understand how to build a lifestyle that is supported by earned income. This includes knowing how to budget for all bills while yet leaving enough money for needs like groceries and savings. But let's face it, as crucial as budgeting is, no one likes keeping track of every single cent they spend. Instead, you can use a technique known as tactical budgeting. This entails developing budgets and plans for an extended period. For example, you can define what you need each month and establish a budget that includes your needs, wants, and associated prices for the next 6 months. You can then segregate the amounts into multiple accounts based on the strategy you set to ensure you don't go over budget. Then, to stay on track, you can refer to your list from time to time. Before we go on with the next item on the list, let's take a little break first. It is said that there are 6 stages of financial freedom. 1 is dependency. Here you are still dependent on your parents or adults when it comes to your finances. Next is solvency. Here you can fully meet your financial obligations without needing help from others. The third is stability. Now you have built up a decent cash cushion for emergencies and have no consumer debt. Fourth, agency. In this stage, you've built up a substantial savings pile and investment portfolio. Not only is your excess income being saved and invested, but your assets are growing and contributing to your net worth too. Fifth, security. This is the first phase of financial independence. It's when your investment income can cover your basic living expenses. Here, you no longer have to work to cover your basic living necessities. However, there is no room for extra spending or personal luxury. And lastly, financial freedom or independence. I'd like to ask you guys, where do you think you stand now in the stages of financial freedom? Please let us know your thoughts by writing in the comments section down below. Number 6. Compound interest. Compound interest is possibly the greatest secret in finance. Time is the one thing that every young person has an advantage over everyone else. While they may not reach their financial objectives overnight, they do have an advantage when it comes to investing. All they have to do is use the power of compound interest. Young people can acquire significant wealth by putting tiny sums of money aside in a high-interest account, which will compound over time. Here's an excellent example of how crucial compound interest is. If you were given two options, the first being a $3,000 bill and the second being a penny that doubles in value every other day, isn't it true that most people would go with the first option? You most likely did as well. However, if you do the math, the second option is worth $10 million after only 30 days. If it doesn't persuade you to take advantage of this wonderful opportunity to enhance your wealth, I don't know what would. Number 5. Secrets of credit. Most young individuals max out their credit cards shortly after receiving them. They end up with a life full of debt, where they are obliged to pay big chunks of interest rates, which in some instances results in late payments that can harm them. Most people are unaware of the significance of credit ratings and keeping a good credit history. However, if schools paid more attention to educating individuals on this life skill, they would most likely be aware of the secrets. What you need to know is that your credit score is one of the most essential aspects of your financial health, and it generally determines your financial situation as an adult. A good credit score makes it much easier to buy a house, get a car, get a business loan, and achieve other goals in the future. We can no longer dismiss the significance of credit. Everyone should always know how to establish credit and maintain a good credit score. Here are some pointers on how to do so. First, obtain a credit card. Most people believe that acquiring a credit card is a mistake, but it is very beneficial to your credit score. When you receive a credit card and use it, financial institutions keep track of all your transactions and interest payments. They will assign a score to your name based on your efficiency. When you apply for a loan, your credit score will decide the loan amount and interest rate. How about it, guys? Feeling like getting a credit card now, are we? Second, always pay your debts on time. There's no getting around it. If money is due today, pay it now. Number 4. Rules of insurance. If you have someone financially reliant on you, you should buy life insurance. This may be your child, your spouse, or your parent. A term policy is preferable to a life policy since it provides coverage whenever it is needed. However, if no one financially depends on you, you should terminate the policy to save money. Get insurance for other aspects and assets you hold. This covers your vehicle, home, valuable belongings, and health. You can also buy umbrella insurance, which covers many policies and offers a discount if purchased from a single insurer. Take your time comparing rates and features before deciding on a provider to insure with. Number 3. Taxes. Taxes are such a big topic that it is rarely covered in school. If you want to stay on the right side of the law, you must know how they work. Learn how to determine the tax rate and how much money you will be left with before you receive your first paycheck or make any sales from your firm. This can assist you in determining whether a job offer will satisfy your financial demands and the best pricing approach for your products or services. Fortunately, numerous online calculators will perform the grunt work for you. They will display you your gross pay, your tax liability, and the amount remaining in your account, often known as your take-home pay. A salary of $35,000 per year in Manhattan, New York, for example, will leave you with approximately $26,399 after tax deductions. Take note of the marginal tax rate that will affect your raise. A raise of $35,000 to $41,000 per year, for example, will not provide you with an extra $500 every month, but rather $345. Make it a practice to do your tax returns. There is a lot of misinformation and bad advice available, so be careful. Number 2. Guard your health. Without insurance, hospital visits for an injury such as a fractured knee might cost thousands of dollars. What happens if you can't afford your monthly health insurance premiums and end up in the emergency room? You may wind up having to borrow money to cover your medical bills, putting financial burdens on other people. Doesn't seem fair, does it? If you don't have medical insurance, obtain one right away. Taking care of your health might also save you a lot of money. This includes eating the proper meals, maintaining a healthy weight, exercising regularly, and avoid excessive alcohol and other addictive substances. You don't want to be sorry, so take care of your health right now. Number 1. College debt isn't 100% necessary. Contrary to popular belief, you don't need a student loan to obtain a college diploma. 85% of new grads worry about their high school loans and the large sums of money they must pay off as soon as they begin working. It isn't always necessary to obtain these loans to pursue your degree. Some colleges such as Davidson College in Charlotte assist students in avoiding debt. Other institutions provide excellent education at a fraction of the cost of private school tuition. You might also go to school part-time, work while you study, enroll in a less expensive school, graduate quickly, or start your education at a community college. However, we don't believe that debt-free education should be the goal of all students. In some circumstances, it may be worthwhile. If you want to start a high-paying career, a few $1,000s shouldn't stand in your way. However, do not make this debt the primary reason for your existence as a college student. There are plenty more options for accomplishing your career objectives. And that's it for today's video. I hope you found this content valuable and would make a big impact on your personal finances from this day onward. Thank you for watching this Thrivetastic video. So if you found it valuable, consider subscribing to our channel and joining our awesome community. And if you're still hungry for more, we handpicked this awesome Thrivetastic video for you to watch next.